NBA is investigating Milwaukee Bucks for their handling of the player participation policy in regards to Giannis Antetokounmpo, according to our SHAMS. Giannis and the Bucks have said different things about the two-time MVP's health since he hyperextended that left knee back on March 15th. The Bucks have not medically cleared him. Giannis says he's ready to play. In fact, Giannis spoke to reporters before the Bucks played the Celtics in Milwaukee saying, quote, "I'm saying it publicly. I effing want to play." He went on to say he's available and questioned, quote, "Do I look like I'm not available? I don't know what the game is being played right here. I just don't want to be a part of it." Giannis said the Bucks should know that when he's healthy, he wants to play, considering he spent his entire career in Milwaukee. He said, quote, "You know who you're dealing with. For somebody to come and tell me not to play or compete, it's like a slap in my face," end quote. I don't know where the relationship goes from there. We've got to go to couples therapy. Giannis also talked about his desire to play with Alex, his younger brother, making his NBA debut on Sunday, saying, quote, "You really think I don't want to suit up and play with my brother? Anybody who thinks that is an idiot," end quote. After last night's 32-point loss to the Celtics, Doc Rivers responded.
The tough part about all this is I'm in the middle and I have nothing to do with it. Coaches don't decide any of this. But the problem with our league is the coaches are the ones sitting out front, and we have to sit here and answer this stuff. And I think there are two sides to this. I will tell you that. But I don't want to get too involved in it. I decided long ago that's not for me to get involved in the rest of this stuff. I don't like it, though. I don't. I just don't like that this is so public, and it shouldn't be. This is a grown man's game, and it should be handled that way by everybody. And so I don't like when it's he said, she said stuff. It's not good. And so just from that seat, the fact that I have to sit up here and keep addressing it, it bothers me. And we need to do something about it.
Okay, let's bring in our NBA reporter, Tim McMahon. He joins us now. Let's start here with the Bucks. I mean, obviously, this is an ugly standoff with Milwaukee and Giannis. Where do we go from here, Tim?
I mean, couples therapy, and what's after that? Probably divorce court. And this has been a long, drawn-out saga, frankly, for years, but especially over the last year. They had the trade talks with the Knicks that didn't lead to anything in the summer. They had trade talks with several teams leading up to this deadline. Really the first time that they opened it up and were seriously discussing and considering offers. And I think that lays the groundwork for the breakup this summer. And Giannis, he hasn't come out and publicly said, "I want out of Milwaukee," but he's dancing around it. He's beating around the bush. And at this point, what's in the Bucks' best interest? The idea that you're going to be able to construct a contender around Giannis. Look at the standings. Look how far away they are. And it's not his health. Like, this is not a good roster. It's not a good team. It's been a great era. They hung a banner, but it is probably time for the parties to go their separate ways this summer.
Yeah, you're right about that. Last time I saw, the Bucks like 11th in the East. Giannis, by the way, has missed 10 straight games now because of that hyperextended knee and bone bruise. Let's move over to the West.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Draymond Green Show. On today's show, we'll discuss Steph Curry is returning on Sunday versus the Houston Rockets. I'll share my thoughts on that. Plus, the Thunder, they got at the Lakers 2 times in a row. I don't know if that's a sign of things to come, but ESPN has revealed the latest results from their MVP straw poll. And most importantly, I think of the week, is we have an incredible new Hall of Fame class headed into the Basketball Hall of Fame. So let's get right into it. I told you all last podcast that Steph Curry may return, I don't know if that's 1 day or 5 days from now. But whether it's 1 day or 5 days, and if you go back and do the math, 5 days from when I said that, Sunday. Steph Curry is returning on Sunday versus the Houston Rockets. And thank God. We're excited, obviously. But number one, just to see him back out there on the floor. The NBA is a much better place with Steph Curry on the floor. I think we all can agree with that. From a team perspective for us, I think the most important thing for us the last few weeks has been staying competitive, making sure that we're building great habits so that, realistically, don't believe we had enough. But continuing to build the right habits, continuing to stay competitive, continuing to keep the spirits high so that when Steph returns, when Al returns, you're not trying to break bad habits. You plug those guys in where they go, and you try to build on the good habits that we've been working on. You try to build on some of the experiences that these guys have been getting due to the injuries. You try to build on that. And if you just let go of the rope while Steph's out, while Al's out, when they do come back, it's just going to be more of the same. And so that's been the focus for the last few weeks. And quite honestly, we didn't win a ton of games, but I think what we did was build some good habits. What we did was show that, guys have grown different areas. What we did is show that we can stay competitive in these games. And now you get your reinforcements back and you try to give yourself a chance. So going into this play-in situation, you go in healthy, a little fresh. But I think that is one upside of the injuries. But also with a group of guys that, has been there. I've been there. Steph's been there. Al Horford's been there. Porzingis has been there. You go in with a group of guys that has played at a high level, mixed with guys who hasn't had much of those opportunities. And you roll the dice and see what you get. And so we're excited as hell. As I told you all, there was never really an idea of Steph shutting it down. He's been working to get back, and obviously he had the frustrating days in between. But there was never really talk of like, yo, let's shut it down. Like it's just not who he is. And so we're excited as hell, man. And honestly, you just want to give yourself a shot at the playoffs. You give yourself a chance. That's all you can ask for. Obviously down Jimmy, obviously down Moses. You just want to give yourself a chance. And so that's our goal down the stretch over these next 5 games, to build some continuity, get guys used to playing. You've had guys get these huge opportunities. Well, when Steph's back, those opportunities won't be quite the same. And some things will change. So you want to spend these next 5 games trying to build that continuity, build familiarity, so that when the play-in rolls around, come 2 Wednesdays from now, that we put ourselves in the best possible position to get that second game. There's a lot of talk about my guy Malachi Leon shooting left-handed free throws. And we've known for the last week and a half, 2 weeks, that Malachi couldn't use his right hand. We've been in practice, and he's been doing everything with his left hand. When we do shooting competitions, we do free throws at the end. Like, Draymond, who you picked to call to the free throw line? I'm like, Malachi. And it's a running joke. But more importantly,
Steph, just how's the knee feel?
Feels great. It's been a long process, longer than I thought. But I'm just happy to have a little clarity and a little window to get back out there and try to get to the level I was playing at and finish the year strong. So I'm excited.
There was a lot of talk about, maybe shut it down, why play the rest of the season? For you, why is it important for you to come back and play these last 2 games and into the playoffs?
I love playing basketball. That's what I get paid to do. So if, I'm healthy to play, and it's safe to go out there and test it in live action, and all the work that I've put in will hopefully pay off. So our season's been, different than we expected. But the fact that, there is something to still play for gives all of us a lot of confidence down the stretch to try to make something out of it. And I want to be a part of it.
What have you learned about this injury and this process, and I don't know what kind of information you can give us on like why you feel fine to come back, and if you think this is something that you have to monitor like the rest of your career? Like, what do you know about this injury?
I mean, it was more of a mental thing at first, meaning I didn't know, to your point, I didn't know enough about it. And I thought I was going to be out for like a week, 10 days max, let it calm down. And every time I got on the court or tried to push it, then that first month, there was always, I would call it a reaction, or you knew it just wasn't healing as fast as you thought. So the patience then was tough, just because it's one of those injuries that you really just have to let rest. There's nothing you can kind of push through or be on the court while it's healing. And it's just a different experience than most injuries that I've had that have like a very defined timeline and a very defined process of do this, then you're going to feel this, and then this is going to heal, and then you're going to be able to do this. Like all those checkpoints, this is every day I wake up, first thing you think about is how does it feel? So that unpredictability was definitely a struggle throughout the whole process. And even still now, because as good as I do feel now, I hope it stays that way. It's just a matter of, getting out there and seeing.
Have you been given a level of assurance or confidence that, like, this isn't something you'll be worrying about next October? September?
Yes and no. There's nothing structurally wrong with my knee, so it's not like I'm compromised out there. It is a new normal, though, if that makes sense. So it's just a matter of understanding what I need to do off the court to make sure everything around my knee is strong and firing the right way. I will take full advantage of the off season whenever it is to have a full reset.
What if the Warriors' next great gamble is not some random role player move, not some quiet off-season tweak, but the boldest swing of the entire Steph Curry era? Because that is exactly why this Giannis story has Dub Nation buzzing right now. The NBA is now investigating the Milwaukee Bucks over how they handled Giannis Antetokounmpo's participation status after Giannis publicly said he wants to play while the team has not medically cleared him. That is not normal noise. That is not harmless frustration. That is a giant red flashing light over a franchise relationship that looks more strained than ever. Reuters reported Giannis has missed 10 straight games after a knee hyperextension and bone bruise, but he publicly pushed back, saying he wants to play, while the league now examines the conflicting messages. And Dub Nation, let's be honest, when you hear that kind of tension around a player like Giannis, your brain goes straight to one place. Can the Warriors actually do this? Can Golden State really pull off the monster move that resets the entire league? Because the reporting already tells us the Warriors were not just daydreaming. NBC Sports Bay Area reported Golden State offered 4 unprotected first-round picks for Giannis before the trade deadline. 4. Whew. Yeah, that is not a fake little check-in call. That is real intent. That is a franchise saying, we still believe Steph Curry deserves one more all-in swing. And now look at Milwaukee. ESPN reported back in February that Giannis had told the Bucks for months that he believed the time had come to part ways, and that Milwaukee had, for the first time, seriously opened up trade conversations. That matters because it shows this is not just one emotional outburst after one bad week. This has been building. Then you add in today's public disagreement, the investigation, the ugly optics, the coach saying he hates that it has all become public. Man, this doesn't look like a peaceful basketball marriage anymore. It looks like the kind of situation that ends with everybody quietly admitting the divorce is coming. Now imagine Giannis in a Warriors jersey. Really imagine it. Steph Curry pulling 2 defenders 30 feet from the hoop. Giannis screaming downhill into open paint. Draymond reading the floor, snapping passes, anchoring the defense, and turning every possession into chaos. That is terrifying basketball. That is not just star power. That is fit. That is pressure. That is a system built to make Giannis even deadlier than he already is. And if you're asking whether Golden State would pay the price, the answer seems obvious. They already showed they're willing to go huge. Of course, there's risk. Massive risk. You don't land a player like Giannis without gutting real assets, probably multiple picks, maybe key young pieces, maybe more. Milwaukee reportedly wanted a blue-chip young player and/or a haul of draft picks. So no, this is not easy. This is not a fantasy trade machine in somebody's basement. This is franchise-altering stuff. But that's exactly why Warriors fans should pay attention now, because the front office has already shown its hand. This team is not trying to fade quietly into a nice little honorable ending. It is still hunting greatness around Steph. That's why I come out of this story feeling favorable about the Warriors, not nervous. Whether they land Giannis or not, the message is clear. Golden State still has ambition, still has nerve, still sees the Steph window as alive enough to chase one of the biggest prizes in basketball. And if Milwaukee finally reaches the point where it has to break this thing apart, do not be shocked if the Warriors are right there again with the biggest, craziest offer they can build. Tell me what you think, Dub Nation. If Golden State really gets a shot at Giannis this summer, do you go all in no matter the cost? Drop your take in the comments, smash the like button, subscribe, and stay locked in because this story feels like it could explode at any moment.